Right, and we are live. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 8 of the Race Spec Pacific Series. We're here for Tier 2 action at Bahrain. The week of the actual real-life Bahrain Grand Prix actually, which is pretty cool. I'm Bod Hod and I'll be your commentator for this evening. So round 8. It's going to be an interesting race. Bahrain, bit of a hit and miss track for some people, but I think generally it provides some decent racing, a fair few overtaking opportunities, which is good to see. So yeah, it should be an interesting race. Before we get right into the broadcast, I believe Race Spec has a new partner in the form of Go Workplace Training. What these guys do is they provide training for workplaces, WorkSafe approved, give you licenses to do some useful stuff with your life, I guess, getting jobs, which is pretty cool. So make sure to go check out goworkplacetraining.com.au if you'd like to hear more about that. Really cool to see Race Spec expanding and developing a partnership with an external organisation. I believe there should be some details of that around the place on the socials, which is pretty cool. So make sure you go look at all that good stuff. We might get back into the action here around the Bahrain in qualifying. Actually, might as well quickly just apologise for the slight delay in the stream. Couple of factors such as some generally dodgy net down under, mostly due to weather. I think for a lot of people, flooding, lots of rain. Also, we had a game update today which caught a few people off. So I have to do a couple of sorting out things like that. That's always a bit annoying, but we are here, better late than never. As I think Scotty I saw was just in the wall there. He's not having the best of times at the start of this qualifying session. But anyway, better late than ever, we are here and ready to rumble with some exciting qualifying action. Now, first person across the line is GeForce Server. He's set a 26.3, which actually isn't too bad of a lap. As I always do, I might try and find someone to ride on board with for a lap. I think the Stone Tower's just finished a lap. I'm not sure if he's going to go again. I don't think so. So we'll go have a look at someone who might be on the way to starting a lap. I think F1 Hawk's going to be coming around soon. 2 Mercs currently sitting on the top. I always enjoy just jumping on board with hot lap with someone. Just so we can find our way around the circuit, learn what the important points are, and so I like the good stuff. I believe Striker came out in the final quarter to finish the lap. I'm not sure why the spectator menu's being a bit funny. He jumps P4. Good to see Striker back after a bit of an extended stint on the sidelines. I did some comms with him last season actually for Tier 4, I think it was. Just good to see him back on track in the racing community. Bit of action down here by looks of things, a couple of people just getting out of the way. Time to start to fly in. I think our championship leader F1 Hawk's about to start laps, so while we run on board with that, I might quickly run through the standings for the first time this season, I think. I do have some useful information for you, for once I guess. I always say I'm going to go get the standings, but I never do. So F1 Hawk does lead us away. He's got a 24-point buffer to Scotty actually, who's been putting in some consistent performances. Edmund sits P3, he's another 12 points behind, so 36 behind on the lead. Macedonian in the other half, so Haas sitting 2 and 4 at the moment in the drivers. That does put them on top of the Constructors' Championship at the moment, I believe. Although there is a bit of an error in this maths on the standing stuff, and I actually think McLaren might be just ahead of Haas, but those two very, very close together. P5 at the championship is S. Nui, just ahead of his teammate Banana Cape Pie. They're only a couple of points behind people in front of them. The Stone Tower, Kickbutt Kiwi, Deputy Doodog and Blocky Rex make up the places 7 to 10. In terms of the constructors, I believe it is McLaren who leads from Haas, who leads from Renault. Those are all actually quite close together, so that's going to be an interesting little battle. Just behind them we have Alfa Romeo, Ferrari and Mercedes all within 5 points of each other as well, so fair bit on the line still, which is good to see. We always like seeing some close battles, so plenty to have a look at, plenty of little fights to keep in mind, or while we're watching these final couple of races, that F1 Hawk's been a tidy lap so far. Around the final corner now. Come across the line, wonder if he can topple Blocky at the moment. He's in the top at 25.6, which is a pretty reasonable time. He can at 25.4, so 2 tenths quicker than Blocky. Which is a pretty decent first attempt there. A couple other guys coming around. Looks like Kavudi, he's invalidated, unfortunately. Edmund is on a lap, he's also on softs. Strategy is going to be a big thing here. Looks like a lot of these guys are happy to go out on softs. However, the medium to hard is the ideal race strategy. Edmund's lucky to not invalidate there. But yeah, the softs don't last very long at all, so if you're going to use them, you can only afford to do 1 hot lap on them. If you do 2, then they're going to be toast for the race. A soft to hard is very, very difficult to do in a race. If there's a tie-way without safety cars or anything like that. Edmund's Mercedes going 3rd. And also the 2-stop soft, medium, is probably not quite as quick as the 1-stop medium hard. So, I mean, track position versus tyre strategy, it's kind of the debate of all debates in terms of this game. But it's something to consider, definitely. See a couple of guys at Stone Tower, Banana Cape Pie, starting to qualify on the medium tyres. Kavudi and S. Nui as well look like they're going to try and set laps on the mediums. Looks like Kavudi's invalidated again, so that's not ideal for him, but we'll have to see how he goes. And S. Nui is currently sitting in the pit lane. Banana won't be on a lap, he'll want to protect those mediums after setting his first lap. Macedonian looks like he's cooling down as well as Edmund. And F1 Hawk, so we can't really have nobody on a lap at the moment, which is great. Unless Kavudi has just decided to start another one, which I think he has, yep. So he might ride on board here with the Williams as he tries to set his first valid qualifying lap. Into a tricky braking zone here. Probably even tricky on the exit though. It widens out, you can't run too wide there, unlike what you see some of the real life people doing. Probably the most technical section of the track here. Really want to try and get the car turned in. You see Kavudi missing a couple of those apexes there. You want to try and get as close as you can to those curves without touching them, because they can be quite unsettling. Now through the slowest section of the track here, other than turn 1, really tricky braking zone, particularly if you don't use the ABS assist. On the power, really important, DRS zone, possibly an overtaking zone, depending if you get a good enough run out of the hairpin, but quite difficult because this corner is a little bit too fast to really throw it down the inside. Although I know there are some blokes who won't hesitate to anyway. Now through a really difficult section as well, don't want to hit that inside curb, it's a bit of an auto spin curb. And another tricky braking zone before the back straight here. So it is a fairly technical circuit actually, although quite wide and spacious in some places. It is very technical. A couple of really tricky braking traction zones, particularly if you use no assist, it can be quite difficult. But Rudy is going to set a valid lap. He's going to sit himself P12, literally just behind Banana Cape Pie on the medium tyres, so those three sit nice and close together. It looks like the Stone Tower Banana Cape Pie jumping out onto more softs though, so they don't want to set another medium lap, or don't want to leave it there, I guess. So we'll have to see what happens with them. I believe that was Scotty and Servich jumped up to 5 and 6. Just coming across the line there. So improvements from both of them, both in the 26 deads. Scotty literally right behind Grim Request, as close as you ever can see. Three blokes still haven't done laps yet. The Rock on the medium tyres, so he's going to set his first now. He's 27.3, so he's the quickest of the guys who have done a lap in mediums so far, sitting P11, which is probably just as good as P5 in this kind of race. Esnui hasn't set a lap yet either, and Keep Butt Kiwis also looks like he's going to wait to the end and try and set a medium lap. No sign of him on track yet. Esnui's coming around to start his lap though. A bit of a championship protagonist as well. He'd be hoping to be right up there. We've seen him quite regularly in the top 5, if not higher than that in previous races. We saw a cracking battle with him and F1 Hawk a couple of times, which resulted in a bit of fireworks. That's the kind of stuff we love to see as spectators, but Esnui, he'll be hoping to get close to that top 3 on this flying lap here. Most guys are back out on track again, but lots of things to set another soft lap, so it looks like softs are the way to go in the end, which I'm a little bit surprised at, but these guys, I mean, they know what they're doing. They're in tier 2 for a reason, tier 2 or 4, so they're on the top bracket of drivers, so plenty of quality in here, so we can't really doubt them too much, I don't think. But Esnui coming through the second sector now, the end of the second sector across the split. 104.4, not really sure where that sits in all honesty, but we'll see when he comes across the line. That looks pretty tidy there, getting on the power using that battery. It's pretty much just hold your foot down as much as you can. Really important here, you want to get on the power as soon as you can. You can floor it a little bit earlier than you possibly think you can originally, due to the exit being really wide on out there. But Esnui put himself in P4, which is pretty reasonable actually, so he'll be fairly happy with that. Currently 2 and a bit tenths off F1 Hawk, still sitting in the top spot. Stone Tower's just on a lap as well. He's done that on softs, P6, which is a good effort. Banana Cake Pie, I don't think has finished his lap yet. He's going to jump to P10 on softs, which I'm sure he would love to not be there at the end of the session. He'll be hoping someone knocks him off, because P11 is just because of pole here. Getting the chance to start on whatever tyres you want around here, that would probably be the mediums. We've got our 18th driver, which is good. Will's jumped in the session, so really good attendance actually. I think this tier has been quite strong in the attendance category, which is nice to see, makes things a little bit more enjoyable. Not just for me, but for the drivers as well, seeing full lobbies. Plenty more can happen when there's more drivers. Try kicking around the final corner now. He's on another soft lap. We'll see if he can jump himself up the list a little bit. Jumps to P11, which is not a bad place to be at all. He won't be complaining too much. There's still nearly 5 minutes left, 4.5 minutes. There's still plenty of time for improvement. Might be able to jump in the pits and put on another set of boots. Josh is a 10th and a bit up through sector 1, so he's going to want to try and hang on to that and find some more time. Currently sitting P14, he might even be just aiming for that P11. To get that, he needs to improve by 5 tenths on his best lap, 4.5 tenths, so he does have a little bit more time to find here in the racing point. Of course, this will be the last season we see this pink car on the grid, at least for the time being, after their rebranding of Aston Martin, which I'm honestly very excited to see in the game. It's going to be a nice looking livery, particularly under lights. One thing that does make Bahrain quite unique compared to other tracks, the night race. It's nice to see the cars in a different light. But now Josh 4 tenths up now, so he's definitely finding more time. If he can hang on to this, he'll pop himself right around the P10-11 range, which is not a bad place to be at all. The worst thing you'd probably want to do is qualify P8, 9, 10. Then you're toast for the start of the race. And what will he do? P12, there you go, so not bad at all. He loses the 10th in the final sector, but 3.5 tenth improvement anyway, so he'll be happy with that. He is one of only 2 cars on the track now, Triker being the other one who hasn't validated his lap, so he's coming into the pits now. So another lull. There you go, so everyone is in the pit lane bar Banana Josh now. So I guess he gets a bit of screen time for himself, as I think his teammates just coming out now. So these guys preparing for their final run, 3 minutes left in the qualifying session. You don't really want to go out too early, because you only want to do 1 lap in your soft tyres because the wear is so bad. The last thing you want is to start the race on kind of 20% old tyres, which you probably would have to if you did more than 1 hot lap on them. You can see Kick Butt Kiwi, as we briefly mentioned, only going to do 1 lap on the mediums at the end, so he's going to do his best on those, which isn't a bad shout. Even if he gets himself around the 10, 11, 12 range, he will be on those medium tyres. Anything higher than that's just a bonus, so we'll see what he can do on those medium tyres. Looks like everyone else is going for the softs. It's quite hard to improve on your soft time if you decide to put on the mediums, so it looks like softs are the general consensus. Rock Cavuti have currently also got their best on mediums so far, but the Rock has left the pit lane on softs, so he is looking to improve, and Cavuti is doing the same. So softs it is for everyone except for Kick Butt Kiwi, so I'm going to be watching that time very closely. But I think Predictor is going to be the first one to start the final run. 1.5 minutes left, so he's got enough time to reset if he makes a mistake, as ideal as that would be. But flooring down through turn 1, really long run through the first corner. I think it's one of the longest in the Formula 1 actually. Misses the apex a bit, but he gets the car stopped well enough, so hopefully he doesn't lose too much time there. Open the DRS, 1 of 3 DRS zones, plenty of overtaking zones into turn 4. Does that quite nicely on the power as soon as possible, which is the really important thing. but 2.5 tenths down in his best, so that turn one's really cost him, and he's deep into there as well. This lap's not going to be an improvement, I don't think, so he might have to back out of it. So not particularly fantastic there for Predictor. Now I think Will was the next one to jump out. He has managed to find his car, but he hasn't validated, so that's massively costly for Will. Essentially having a one-shot quality after joining late. And I do believe Kickbutt is the... No, there's a couple of cars in between. I think Banana Cake Pie or Esnui, one of the Renaults, is the next one behind. It would be Banana Cake Pie on his outlap. So I think Esnui is the next... No, Kickbutt's the next one on track. So we'll keep an eye on Kickbutt Kiwi here on the medium tyres. Also doing one-shot quali. Where can he pop himself on this grid? On the harder tyre, we know he's got some pretty good raw pace, so you'd back him to be around about that top 10. But how much higher than that is anyone's real guess. There are some really close times, particularly from about the P6 right down to the P11, 12 range. So if you can slot yourself in there somewhere, then you'd be in a really nice spot in terms of your rivals. A couple of yellows on track, looking like people just trying to get out of the way of each other. Session is done, at least on my screen. Hopefully the glitch has been fixed with this new update. But Kickbutt Kiwi around the final corner. Artie Changs will finish the session without a lap. Kickbutt goes 15th to medium, so that's going to be the best for him. Although he hasn't got the checkered flag next to his name, so it looks like we still do have that timing glitch. So I'll have to see about that. Scotty jumps into P6. There's a couple more guys coming around the final corner. I think Trikid's about to start a lap. A couple of Renaults coming across as well. Banana Cake Pie starting a lap. They have made the line, so... sorry, Esnui is starting the lap. My bad there. So I'm not quite sure if the flag has dropped yet. I think it has. I think Artie Cheng's... Yep, Artie Cheng's has just crossed the line. The flag's coming now. Yep, so the session is done, so it will be everyone's last attempts now. Blocky stays P2. I just saw him come across the line, a 10th down on his best time. His teammate Grim Reaper just behind has invalidated, and I think that's Williams behind as well. That would be Kavudi, I believe. No, Kavudi's doing a bit of track exploration, which is not good. He's not improving. The next one is an Alpha Romeo. That will be the Stone Tower coming around the final corner. Can he find some time? He's currently down in his best, and he's going to pull into the pit, so he's not finding any more time. Edmund with the next one across. He will improve to P2. Oh, 1,000th between him and Pole. Oh, that is incredibly close, as the Stone Tail has retired from the session. Not sure what he's doing there. He's on the inside of the track. I think he's done that on track, which is naughty, but oh well. Kickbutt has improved again, but stays 15th fastest. There's I think it's a McLaren coming across. F1 Hawk improves to a 25 flat. So that's a great lap there. Currently sitting 4 tenths ahead of the next best. Trike would be the next one across the line, and Banana Cake Pie will be the final one behind him, I believe. He stays P11. Banana Cake Pie goes to P3. Or we missed that before as well. In between there, I'm just trying to figure out which Renault's which there. I think Esnui it was, has pulled into the pit lane. And the other Alpha Tari there, I think that's the Lighter Cheng's. But that'll do us for qualifying. F1 Hawk takes pole, 4 tenths. That's pretty commanding. That's got his opponents shaking their boots, I reckon. Edmund P2, Banana Cake Pie with a great quality P3, literally 2,000ths ahead of Blocky Rex, who they'll be partying up together. Surely a fair bit of banter going on between the pair of them. Reaper P5, Esnui P6, so 2 Renaults and 2 Mercedes in the top 6. As there is a crashed car there. That is F1 Hawk. I'm not too sure what's happened there. That's interesting. He must have run into someone on the... I wasn't really paying attention to the track. But there you go. I think P7, 8, 9, 10 was Server, Scotty, Macedonian and the Stone Tower. Yes, it is. So those guys will all be starting with the soft tie, and Trikid in the magical P11. That's a really nice place to be starting there. Josh, Doodle, Predictor, Kickbutt Kiwi on the mediums, Rock on the mediums, Kavudi on the mediums. And then 2 guys not setting times will be starting right at the back, 18th and 19th. So it's an interesting grid. A couple of quick guys having to come through here. You expect to see Kickbutt a little bit higher up, however, he's playing the strategy game by the looks of things. Same with the Rock. So they're going to be ones to watch on the alternate, and Trikid's in a really nice position. But yeah, really solid qualifying from our championship leader, F1 Hawk. 4 tenths is no small gap. He's lined himself up quite well for a run at another win. which I'm sure he'd love to have. He did win last week at Australia. I think he's won 2 more races. I'll just plot the standings so I know I'm right. Yes, he won at Austria in the opening 2 rounds as well. So, yeah. F1 Hawk is the man to beat at the moment. Currently almost got a race lead over the next rival in Scotty, who's been quite consistent. He's only got 1 win, has Scotty at Belgium, but he's been quite consistently in the top 6, 7, 8 positions. Then Edmund's sitting P3, he's P2 on the grid here, so his chance to try and make some inroads perhaps on F1 Hawk, but it's going to be a real interesting race, I believe. We'll have to see where the guys sit come the end of it, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, yep, check the stream's alright. Formation lap time. We'll get these tyres up. So as expected, everyone outside the top 10 is on mediums. So medium hard will be the way to go for those guys. The top 10, they might do a 2-stop, soft, medium, medium, or might try and stretch a 1-stop soft hard, which would be not the easiest thing to do, but maybe possible if you're kind enough in your tyres. And don't lose too much track position. But the likes of Trike, Bernard, Josh, Deputy Doodog, they're going to be ones to watch. They're going to be right in the back of those bottom top 10, I think, fairly early on, as is the amount of wear and drop off those soft tyres we'll have around here, a really high deck circuit. So it's going to be an interesting race for sure. We've mentioned a couple of times how many quick guys there are in here. Some really strong drivers in this tier, so you have to make the most of your opportunities. And I guess the easiest place to do that, but also the hardest, is at the start. So yeah, it's going to be a real spicy start, particularly with such a long run into turn 1, long run, heavy braking zone. There's always bound to be a little bit of chaos, particularly around the middle and back, where there are a lot of cars converging on each other. And it's a pretty tricky run out of turn 1, 2, 3 and into turn 4 again. So I did mention right at the start of the stream how interesting it is to race around here, how it is quite a raceable circuit, but also how difficult it sometimes can be to keep your nose on. So it's going to be a fascinating race, to say the very least. So yeah, these guys come around the front straight now. A bit of interestingness with the cars going through each other, as we'll have to see. Got an S to be found in chat, which is good to see. Reaper and Gritty crashed at the same spot. That must have been qualifying, so that's not the way to do it. However, both of them have similar fortunes in this race. Different fortunes in this race. Grim Reaper being P5 and Gritty being right down in P17, but points aren't earned for qualifying. They're in the race, so I got plenty of time to make that back up. Looks like we're ready to go. We'll see if we can get a nice camera angle. That's a little bit better there. 4 or 5 red lights. We are on lap 1, which is nice. We've gotten rid of that glitch finally, but we haven't gotten rid of the light glitch. I guess you can't ask for everything with this game. Revs are up, and we are finally underway. We get the strategy now, which is a bit useless, but better late than never, I guess. Looks like a good stuff. F1 Hawk, Benike Pi looks like he's going to hang on to P3, but possibly come from blocking. Benike Pi is actually going to go around the outside of Edmund for P2. Can he get it stuck? A little bit of contact, and he's through. Benike Pi through for P2, which is great for him. The 2 Mercedes guys just behind as well look like they're having a bit of a scuffle as the field spreads out a little bit for the start of this race. Esnui hangs on to P7. I think Macedonia's just managed to jump him though. His teammate Scotty's lost a couple of positions. Triken and Dudog already up a few positions on those medium tyres, which is good to see as they negotiate this tricky section. There's someone off and Edmund's off. He's in the wall. Championship protagonist, and that is massive. And that's brought out a safety car. Has got a couple of guys with collision penalties as well. The Rock and Artie Changs both with 5 seconds for hitting each other. And there's a bit of racing point front win as well, as Predictor gets a 5-second penalty for a collision as well. So they've run into each other under the safety car as well. That didn't take long, did it? The Rock's picked up a 5-second place for a collision and a gain of 1 place. So the Rock now has 3 5-second penalties, which is... that's almost laughable how ridiculous that is. There you go. That's probably the quickest 15 seconds that I've ever seen. But yeah, that didn't take long at all. I'm not too sure what happened there. He was sitting in P3. I think he lost that to Banana Cake Pie. I'm not sure if he's dropped it himself or he's had some contact with someone. We just missed it. I know that the curb on the outside is really tricky to hang on to sometimes of that section. I wonder if he's just dropped it there, but that is absolutely massive. I did mention just before the start of the race how this is his chance to try and gain some points back in F1 Hawk and Scotty ahead of him, but all of that is now down the drain being out of this race. So there you go. That's been lap 1. And we have a couple of guys in the pits, which is not too surprising. Podium is going to serve a penalty and get a new front wing. But up the field, it is F1 Hawk from Banana Cake Pie. So Banana did manage to get Edmund before all of that calamity. Blocky into P3 where he started. Sorry, 1 position up from where he started. Reaper also up 1 position from when he started. Macedonian up a place as well. So we'll get the positions again to see our biggest climbers. So Macedonian up 4, Deputy Doodog up 4, Kabuti up 4, Will up 4. So they're our biggest climbers at the moment. Doodog on mediums as well, which is quite important to note. Biggest droppers, of course, is Edmund down 17. Ripped down 4 after a bit of contact and that damage. And pit stop, and Scotty down 2 and the Stone Tail down 1 as well, both of them on the soft tyres. So now this is important for Scotty and the Stone Tower because they've now got medium runs ahead of them. Report from Gavin, he just speared straight off, so yeah, it must have been on that curb then, either inside or outside. So that is, yeah, that's massive in terms of the championship, and mightily disappointing to go out on lap 1, but it's what it is sometimes. Lap 1 safety cars is the thing, so there you go. All we can do is move on and get on with the race from this point, I guess. It is interesting that none of the soft runners really decided to pit off the softs yet. So they're obviously going to try and one-stop it, unless they just don't feel brave enough to try pit now. Problem with the hards is they won't quite get to the end from here. So if you do pit off the softs, you're probably going to have to go medium, so maybe there is no real point to pitting. It looks like they're all going to stay out again, so that looks like the general consensus. But yeah, safety car should be in this lap. The entire field is now on the back of the train, so we will see some racing this lap, but it'll be a question of how quickly these guys can get their softs to fire back up and get some grip. My guess would be not very quickly at all. It's going to be really difficult. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, just having a look down the grid. I'm wondering how the Rock's going to negotiate for his penalties because he's got 3 of them. It probably would have been smart for him to take one of them in the safety car, because he's not going to be able to get them removed because he's going to have to serve them at every lap, unless he just serves one of them now and gets the other 10 seconds off post-race. But that's probably the worst way to start a race, right down the back with 15 seconds of penalties. Penalties probably won't be too much of a factor in this race result. If you do pick them up, it's going to hurt you a bit. There aren't many places where you can go wide to really gain an advantage, so you don't really see drivers exceeding the track too much. The most common place we're probably going to see a penalty is, it'd probably be the second or third last corners, just at the end of the hill, on the uphill section, just through where these guys are coming now. But most other places you don't want to touch too many of the curves at all. So you might see a fair few warnings on the exit here, or the entry on this left hand side here. Probably not so much the apex as well, but on the exit as well. They're probably the 2 places you're more likely to see the warnings, but these guys are going to have to really pay attention because there aren't many others. Safety car's in, so F1 Hawk will start to back the pack up now. So yeah, we'll have to see whether anyone can really make some inroads on this race from the safety car restart, as he's gone already out of the final corner. Looks like everyone's hung on fairly well behind him. but Blocky Rex has got a really nice run here, and Banana Cake Pie is going down the inside. Banana's trying to squeeze him in the toe of F1 Hawk, Macedonian and Reaper as well. So two Mercedes both in the movement. Banana Cake Pie's gone late on the brakes. He's hit the inside of F1 Hawk's side pod. He's just made it stick, and behind the Reaper and Macedonian is still going side by side as well. I think Banana Cake Pie very late in the brakes there. Wasn't quite ready for it, but that could have been an absolute disaster going 3 wide into there. S Nui has managed to get by Reaper, so Reaper now down to 6, S Nui up to 5th, and Macedonian up to 4th. The server picks up a time penalty on the exit there, which is probably the next best place to pick up a penalty. Or pick up your warnings this race. But yeah, Macedonian now a fair few places. I think that's 5 now, so he's had a really nice start to this race. But Blocky and Banana Cake Pie are still chasing down F1 Hawk. As behind them looks like Kavuti and Will are having a nice little battle. Down the inside, a bit of contact there, and Will's gone a little bit off the track there, a little bit of side-by-side contact. Kavuti will sneak through for P14. Will down in P15 now. Artie's managed to get by the rock at the back as well. Scotty's in the back of Doodog here, softs versus mediums, so I wonder if Scotty's going to have enough tire grip to really use while these softs are starting to die off now. The mediums will just about be as good, if not better, at this point. Server's going down the inside of Reaper as well, so Reaper's really struggling off the start here. He's already lost a couple of positions and is going to lose one more, I think, as Server's going to get through there. I wonder if Reaper can stick in his toe here. Tri-Kid behind, but probably quite close enough to really make a move here. Yeah, so Tri-Kid's too far back behind them. Looks like Scotty and Dildog going to have a side-by-side. Down the inside goes Scotty on the soft tyres, and he's got it stuck, has he? Not quite. Dildog's going to fight around the outside. It'll be the inside for turn 2. But Scotty sweeps through on the exit of 2 into 3 and is now head on the straight, and that's going to allow Stone Tail back through into P10 now. So Dildog losing a couple of positions there. So soft guys still look like they have the grip under them, which is good for them. So they're doing alright, which is good to see. Dildog's going to have to be a bit patient now. I'll wait for the soft to really die off before launching another attack. But Stone Tail and Scotty really aggressive off this restart here, which is good to see. Banana Cake Pie, P12. Sorry, not Banana Cake Pie, Banana Josh, the other banana in this tier. He's hunting down Dildog now, so he's also on the medium tyre, so that'll be a straight fight between him and the blokes around him. I might have a quick look up the front though, because Banana Cake Pie and F1 Hawk, 7/10 is the gap, so F1 Hawk's going to be pushing quite hard at this point to try and gap DRS. All 3 of these top 3 are. They've already pulled a bit of time to Macedonian, who's under a fair bit of pressure here. He's just lost 7/10 in that corner there, so he's really struggled behind. Coming under some pressure from Macedonian, from S Nui, sorry, behind. So S Nui looks like he's on a roll as well. Macedonian, after initially getting a really nice start off that restart there, he looks like he's starting to drop a little bit of pace. As behind Keep Up and Banana Josh are having a side to side. I think that's someone in the pit lane perhaps, I'm not too sure. Someone's losing a lot of speed back there. Is it Josh? He's dropped a lot of positions. Not too sure what's happened to Josh there. Maybe getting loose out of the last corner. But he dropped 3 or 4 positions there. That's not great for him at all. But Scotty and Tri-Kid looks like this is the place to watch, as he's going to have a quick look down the inside, but not quite really enough alongside to force the issue. So Scotty will have to stay in P9 behind Tri-Kid, who's our lead medium run at the moment. So he's looking quite nice. If he can hang on to that position there. The Stone Tail just behind also on softs. We should expect to see the soft runs in the next couple of laps. We've got yellows, that was like an incident. And that's 1 racing point. Banana Josh has gone around. He doesn't have damage, so I wonder if he's dropped it as well. So he's had a lap to forget as well. And that's a real shame there for Banana Josh. I'm not enjoying his time at the moment on lap 6. So he's going to have to come back through the field. At least he's on the medium tyres, which should have a bit more grip for him than the softs. With that Reaper, the server might be the next one likely to make a move, other than the guys ahead at S Nui and Macedonian. You can see all 4 of them in this picture though, so we might stay here with Reaper, initially struggling with grip, but now looking like he's managed to get his tyres back under control. As taking out a few braking boards is Reaper going a bit deep there. So maybe not quite yet, but he's going to have a nice run here. DRS will now be open, so that will help an awful lot. We've got more yellows. I think that's Banana Josh again going off. No, it's his teammate Predictor. He's now dropped behind, so both racing points having a race to forget. They won't be loving life too much at the moment. So Keep Butt and Dildog going side by side. Keep Butt down the inside for P11. Really nice job there. He's now second of the medium runners. So this is quite an interesting little battle in itself, I think, between these two. because come the pit stops, this could be for essentially P2. So it'll be interesting to see whether they continue to fight each other hard, or whether they try to kind of work together and try and minimise the time lost to the soft guys. But it looks like for now they're going to fight each other hard, which is what we like to see. Up the front, F1 Hawks managed to gap DRS. It's got more yellows off. That is Banana Josh. They're both racing points, doing some celebratory donuts. Although I'm not quite sure what they're celebrating at this point in time. Definitely not something to do with this race. As they're both right down the back. But hopefully they can sort each other out. Now Blocky is still right in the back of Banana Cake Pie. Nestino is still right in the back of Macedonian here, but F1 Hawk's got the gaps. He's chilling. Reaper is still close enough to serve for DRS, but not quite close enough to really make a move. So these guys might be the battle to watch here. We might run on board here with S. Nui, who might try and line up a move in Macedonian here out of the front corner. We'll see if anyone decides to pit. Someone pits, that is Server. Server's going to be the first one in the pit lane. So he's going to try and pit and take them as long as he can. Stone Tower doing the same thing just behind as well. So they're going to see if they can take the hardest at the end, I think. Or they might try to stop. We'll have to wait and see what happens come the pit stops. Server's put on hards, so he's going to the end if he can. As is the Stone Tower. So they're both going to try and extend that stint a little bit longer. Perhaps pick up a little bit undercut on this pack here. Just have to see whether that pays off for them. We won't really be able to tell until probably around about like 12, 13, 14 when these medium guys start to pit. But we'll keep our eye on that. As it looked like possibly a little bit of rain there, but now I remember it never rains in Bahrain, even though it's in its name. Now Caribbean and Will side by side. This is not really a place you normally see cars going side by side. We already saw some contact down here, and there's going to be some more contact. They're both sliding through the hairpin there. Caribbean goes off wide. Will's not hesitating to get the elbows out. Really spicy stuff. They're still side by side. So really aggressive racing with the pair of them. But Will's going to get the better of him this time. Kabudi has to settle for P12, although trying a bit of a switch back. But he's not quite going to get the momentum to make it stick. The Rock will be just behind them. We might stay on board here. He'll have the best view of them all for this little battle here. P11. Just looks like it's really popping off at the moment. As Kabudi's going to send it down the inside again. We've got more yellows. That is again a racing point. As yeah, he's having a shocking time as Bernard Josh at the moment. As we've got some of our leaders in the pits now. A fair few of them actually. So it's time to pull the pit now. We're going to go almost 3 wide here, I think, as the Rock's going to try and get both of them done, and he's going to be ahead of the braking zone and going to make it stick. Is he quite? Not quite. There's a little bit of contact on the Rocks. Oh, he's managed to save that somehow. I thought he was around for sure, but he's managed to stick it in P6. It's now P6 after those pit stops. Kabudi's now behind the pair of them. I'm getting an average run, and Artie Chang's is going to be behind him as well, but Will, I think he has to settle for P7, catches a bit of a slide there, and the Rock does gain those positions, so there you go. Now, pit stops. F1 Hawk and IK Pie both pit for medium tyres. Macedonian has pit for medium. Sorry, F1 Hawk and Banana have pit for hards. My mistake there. Macedonian on medium. So Macedonian is 2-stopping. Grim Reaper's put on softs for some mysterious reason. I'm not sure why he's doing that. He's definitely 2-stopping, if not 3-stopping. Then Stone Tower's come out about 1.5 seconds behind Reaper, so he's gained a little bit, but not too much. I don't think the undercut is that valuable. And Scotty's put on mediums as well, so the 2 Haas guys are both 2-stopping. They're probably going to need a safety car to help them out, but we'll see what they can do in terms of progress through the field. Now, kick butt once again on the back of Tri-Kid, as Bernard Josh has retired in the pit lane. Not too surprised about that considering his last few laps. So he's had enough up his sleeve. Blocky and SU are in a lap afterwards, so we'll see if they lose too much time, but looks like Kickbutt Kiwi is going to get by Tri-Kid in the DRS before the braking zone gets ahead, so that is a nice move there into P1. Leader of the medium runners, so that's nice there. Blocky and SU have both put on the hard tyres. Now, where do they come out relative? But IK Pies, he has undercut Blocky a little bit, although Blocky is still in that DRS. Or is he? He's going to get it from his in lap, I think. Just. So that's going to be really close there. But the uncut not looking to be too valuable. F1 Hawk is still clear by 1.5 seconds. He's done well enough for himself. Reaper on the soft tyres, he's dropped P12 essentially. I think it's P5 or 6 at the moment now. So, but his strategy is a bit weird. I'm not sure why you're putting on more softs. So we'll see if he can make anything of that. He's going to have to push now. He'll definitely be the quickest car on track on raw pace. So he might be on to watch trying to come through this field. But yeah, questionable strategy regardless. Scotty ends up a fair way back. I'm not too sure if he's had some kind of calamity. I would have expected him to be a bit closer to that midfield fight. I wonder if he's changed the wing or something. But he's in P16 now, which is also known as second last with another stop to do. So Scotty, our second place man in the championship, not really in an ideal position to challenge F1 Hawk, who's effectively race lead at the moment. So we'll see what he can do in terms of a comeback through the field. Now, Dildog still managed to stay on the back of Trikid, who got overtaken by Kickbutt last lap. So Kickbutt Kiwi looks like he's got the pace on the mediums. Dildog trying to hunt down Trikid now. There's a couple of guys setting quickest laps as expected in the midfield there. Dildog's not quite going to have enough road to get by there. It looks like Serv and Stone Towel going side by side. Serv gets through on the inside. Stone Towel going to try to switch back. Serv put that car in a really nice spot and should be able to make that move stick now. He's going to, just Stone Towel won't quite get the run into turn 4. Bernard's under pressure blocking now, so Blocky's got some really nice pace in his hards, and he's being pushed along by Macedonian and Grim Reaper, both on mediums and softs. So this is going to be a spicy battle here because these guys are all in different strats. Banana and Blocky both on the hard tyres, Macedonian on mediums, and Reaper on the softs. So theoretically the two guys behind should be quicker than the two guys in front. What that means is overtakes. So we'll see what happens there. It looks like Deputy Dug and Trikid at the top are having a fight. These guys aren't changing. Might have a quick look up here. Dildog ahead of Trikid. But looks like Trikid's not done yet. Can you get them around the final corner? He's going to understeer off a little bit wide, but gets powered down well enough using that battery. I'm not sure if he's quite going to have the legs to get by though. As Reaper picks up 3 seconds, which is going to be massively costly, as Trikid's going to go down the inside. He is going to get the run in the end. I didn't think he'd quite have the legs to do it, but he does. Dildog's defending around the outside for the second time we've seen this race, and he's going to manage to hang on just. Trikid gets a nice run out of turn 2 though, and should be able to get a run into turn 3. Can he get stuck around the outside? Turn 4, sorry. He's going to try, but really difficult to hang it around the outside. Dildog will give him the room. And they're still side by side. So cracking little battle here. Showing plenty of racing respect, which is nice to see. And Dildog will just hang on for now, I think. Cracking battle though. Really, really clean and tidy. Plenty of respect between the drivers, which is what we love to see. So nice job there. Behind them, the Rock and Will also having a scuffle, and the Rock's just gotten through as well. And back here, Macedonian has managed to clear Blocky for P10, which is effectively P3 on that 2-stop strat. So Macedonian's going to have to really stretch the legs now to make up that pit stop time. Reaper's still behind his teammate. I wonder if we're going to see a few team orders here. I know Blocky's not going to like it, but for the greater good, he might just decide to let his teammate go. We'll have to see what the choice is. Macedonian's going to be all over the back of Banana Cake Pie soon with medium tyres. They're going to have a lot of grip for the next kind of 5, 6, 7 laps compared to those hards. And they should start to level out a little bit, but Reaper missing a few marks in a couple of costly places. That's not going to help him try and get a run to make an overtake, so he's going to have to tidy himself up a little bit and try and really hit those apexes. On the soft tyre, you don't have to push excessively hard, just hit your marks, and pace will come out of the tyre naturally. But I think he's quite going to have the pace. Macedonian will have the pace, so he's going to go down the inside of Banana Cake Pie, and Banana's going to have to just watch the Haas coast by and get himself into P9, so nice job there. Macedonian now into a bit of clear air, as Predictor picks up time penalties, which is not going to help him, though he's right at the back by himself anyway, so he needs a safety car to get back in this race. Reaper's still behind Blocky, so Blocky not letting him by, which is probably fair enough at this point. Reaper hasn't quite shown Blocky the nose yet. He's not quite gotten close enough to warrant a clean let through, so Reaper's going to have to tidy himself up a bit, hit his marks, which again is going a bit deep into that corner there. So I'll have to see what he can do in terms of an overtake on his teammate. I don't think Blocky's going to just let him go, particularly when this is for a podium, this battle here. It's going to use the battery, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. Sort of shows no, it's not quite. Stays ahead, does blocky, but a bit deep. Going up the hill, Reaper might get a run now. I think if they're going to swap over, it's going to have to be now, but I don't see it happening at this point. Blocky's hitting his marks. Reaper can't quite get the momentum out of the corner to really make a genuine run. You can see the Renault of Esnu just behind as well on the hard tyres, so he might be in the factor for a podium soon as well. As Triker's coming into the pits off the medium tyres, as has Will Gavuti, so it looks like it's time for them to go. Gavuti picks up 5 seconds, which is not what he would have wanted when he's trying to fight in the ultimate strat. Will's not going to get the jump either, I don't think, on Gavuti, or he might just. I think he will. Blocky is still ahead of his teammate here again, so once again, Reaper struggling to get by his teammate on the softer tyres. Now the Stone Tower and Server going at it once again. I think Scotty, sorry, this is Scotty and Server. Stone Tower just a bit behind, so Scotty has now gotten by Server here for P11. Scotty on the 2-stop. He's going to have to really push to make up the time. Server P12 is going to the end. Stone Tower P13 is going to the end. Trikid, Will, Gavuti and Predictor behind are all going to try and go to the end on hards as well. So they're going to have to get their heads down. Back to this little battle here between Reaper and Blocky. Banana Cape Pie and Macedonian ahead. Banana's actually managed to stick within DRS and Macedonian for now. So he's done himself quite a favour there, really not coming under pressure from Blocky. He's keeping himself ahead of those 2 Mercedes boys with that DRS there, which is really good for him. So he's going to be loving life at the moment. F1 Hawk's currently 1.8 seconds ahead of this little pack here. It looks like Deputy Doodog has come into the pits off the medium tyres too, so it looks like now's the time to go. Almost half race distance, so makes sense to do that. The hards will have plenty of life to go to the end, so you really want to maximise the medium stint. Keep up the Rock and A Chang's still out now. There's a few guys left who start on those medium tyres who are still on them, so they're going to probably pit in the next lap or 2 unless they're just going to back a safety car or something like that. We'll have to see how that plays out there. But F1 Hawk, he's still net P1 and he's doing really nicely for himself. He's not really seeming to need to push. He's catching some of these medium guys ahead, but not too quick of it, going to block him. Macedonian is still kind of sitting there. He's gaining slightly, but not quite enough to really threaten him, considering Macedonian does have to pit again. So F1 Hawk looking really pretty at the moment. Banana has now dropped DRS from Macedonian, so that's going to help Blocky get close up to him, and it's not going to help Reaper get by his teammate. So yeah, really tricky situation here for the Mercedes boys, particularly Reaper, who's probably going to have to pit at the end of maybe lap 17 or 18 off those soft tyres. It's going to put him well down the field. Now keep up in on the mediums as well, so he's calling it now. He's going to come out behind this pack here. Probably read about the Stone Tower Trikid Dilbok kind of range, as into Artie Kings is also coming in, so the Rock is now the only one left who hasn't pit yet. Tough to see where he comes out when he does decide to pit. Blocky Rex, he's coming really close to Banana now, who I don't think has DRS. No, he does have DRS. Banana does have DRS, which is going to help him an awful lot compared to those Mercedes. So Blocky and Grim Reaper just have to settle once again. As Def and Trikid having a nice little battle to turn 1 as well, 2 and 3. Trikid trying to get around the outside here. Can he get the run? He does have the run, and Dildog has to concede. Yeah, he does. So Trikid gets ahead for P12 now. Hasn't skipped a beat. He's missing a bit of time out. Dildog really not too much to do there. We've seen how class his defending is, and we saw the really respectful battle between the two of them a couple of laps ago. Trikid now just ahead, Will's just behind these two as well. Really nice helicopter shot there. We need more of these, Codemasters. More helicopter shots, please. They are the best in the game, I think, just about. But yeah, a little bit stagnant now at the moment for this race. Esnui has managed to catch this pack now. After Banana Blocky Reaper haven't really been able to sort each other out. That looks like it's going to stay like that for a little while now. Macedonian is slowly catching up to Hulk, but not close enough again to challenge directly. Behind there's a couple of little DRS packs, but not quite in a position to really attack each other yet. So we're trying to take a general view. As I say that, looks like Blocky might have a ping at Banana. Finally, he does. Blocky has the momentum to get by Benike Pi, finally. And Reaper's going to not be able to get through yet, but Blocky, patience paying off there. Finally able to get the run just as Benike Pi loses the DRS off Macedonian head. He might fancy a run back, but I think he's too far behind. Yeah, he is, so Blocky will take P4. Effectively P2 down this race once the pit stops to slow each other out. So important points there for Blocky at the moment. We'll see what Benike Pi can do in terms of a comeback. What that means for Reaper is he doesn't really have to hesitate in getting back at him. Trike and Doodog here still going at it though for P12. This is a cracking battle still resuming. And Trike is going to sweep around the outside and take that back. So really nice job there for Trike here. And now look, Will's going to send it down the side of Doodog. He wants to get involved in this as well. Doodog trying a bit of a switch back. If he can get power down early, he can. But he might get squeezed in the entry here. He does. Will slots in for P13. Cracking battle going on here. We'll have to keep an eye on it as much as we can. As Trike now leads this trio. And Doodog now follows. I'm going to stay after that. Additionally, S Nui on the hards has gotten by Grim Reaper on the softs, so those softs look like they've lost the best of them, lost the best of their grip, so we're going to probably see Reaper in this lap for medium tyres, or in a lap or two for medium tyres, and he's going to pull into the pit lane now, so 2-stop on the softs, not really working. He didn't quite manage to get the trap position they needed to really make it work, but he's going to come out in the best tyres, so if we get a safety car now, he's going to have another chance for himself to get some solid points, but without a safety car it might be difficult to really threaten that top 10. 50% another time penalty there. Now Stonetown Server, this has been kicking off a little bit as well recently. Server looking like he wants to get back at Stone Tower, who just snuck through there. Server down the inside, not quite close enough to really make a run. Stone Tower, a bit of a lock up, it does get the car stopped, so nice job there from the Stone Tower. To hang on to P9. Now only a couple of guys left to pit. I think Scotty's going to have to pit again. As the Rock... What's happened to the... Oh, the Rock's dropped it. Oh, he's dropped it out of the lead. Oh, that's massive. Because he's on that one stop. He was on that alternate strat. Has he got a puncture? Oh, he does. That's why. He's got a left rear puncture. So trying to stay out in those medium tyres, and it hasn't worked, possibly just gambling for a safety car. And yeah, that explains everything. That left rear is totally flat. That's going to be a handful to get back to the pit lane, particularly around these kind of corners here. He's going to be overcorrecting like crazy, and he's gone around again. So that's disappointing for the Rock, trying to take a gamble, waiting for something to happen, but it's not quite happened. And that's going to put him right down to the back. So now F1 Hawk does lead. Officially. We might jump off this turn. End his pain. Kick and Scotty side by side. Kick now through. So it looks like those mediums and those hards have now leveled out. Scotty 9 up old mediums. Kick here with some nice pace from right towards the back of the grid now in P6. Genuinely as well. So he's got nice fresh hards too. He's only pitted a couple of laps to go. So Kickbutt's in a really nice place. He's got 4 seconds just about to the 2 Renaults in front of him. So I wonder if he can start to close that down and possibly be on for a podium. Yes, very, very squirrely out of there. Don't want to be sliding out too much there, I don't think. Scotty's going to try and hunt him down again, possibly stand at DRS, but we should expect to see Scotty in the next few laps to pit off those mediums as well on the 2 stops. Same with his teammate in P2, who will have to pit again. So the Rock did do, I think it was 18.5 laps on those medium tyres before they punctured, so Macedonian's definitely not going to get to the end unless he's got some insane tyre saving skills. Same with Scotty. They're going to be the only 2 left to pit, I think, and then everyone else is finished. Reaper did pit last lap. He was the other guy on the 2 stops, so I think from this point onwards it's pretty much a straight race to the finish. I'll just try and keep an eye on as many gaps as I can. I know this little trio here of Will, Trike and Deputy are still nice and close together, and Garudi might get involved soon as well, just ahead of the Stonetown Surfer. We've seen exchange some blows. As Trike is wide, he's very, very wide, and that's going to allow Doodog a run, I think. With DRS still though for Trike, it might save him just, but Doodog with all 2% of battery Can he get enough momentum to get alongside? He will go around the outside. Can he get it stuck? Yes, he's going to hold it. We've seen him do that a few times now, really hang around the outside there. We keep the car there. Trikid cuts the corner, gets a penalty for it, which isn't going to help him at the end of the race, but he will hang on for now to the track position. Kavudi just behind as well. I think Dildog, he is going to get these 2 positions at the rate he's going on penalties, but I'm sure he'd love to get them on track anyway. Kavudi's going to try and get involved in this too if he can. So this is definitely a little battle to watch as the race closes. All these guys are going to the end, and all of them are fairly similar aged tyres, so it's as straight of a race as you can possibly ask for, which is good. Just ahead of them, Server and Stone Tower. They're starting to close on Scotty a little bit, 5.5 seconds is the gap, so Scotty's going to have to pit soon. Kickbutt still trying to close in a bit on these 4 up here, 2 Renaults, Blocky and Macedonian. So Blocky's right nearest Macedonian now, so it looks like those mediums are just about toast as well. 10 laps on them. They're going to be about the 40% mark, I think, at this point. So it looks like those hards are definitely quicker at this stage of the race. Macedonian's going to weave. He can't technically move again because he's already moved twice. He's going to stay outside, and Blocky's going down the inside. And he's going to try and get stuck. A little bit of side-to-side contact. Blocky deep in the corner. But he is going to get stuck. A bit of contact. And has Macedonian caught it? He has caught it just. I thought that could have almost been disaster there, but he's managed to catch it. Now Server and Stone Tower side by side as well, and I can see that battle behind also heating up. Server gets through, but I think we have to pay attention to this podium battle because Benake Pai and Nui have both gotten past Macedonian on the medium tyres, and it looks like he's going to try and fight it back, but he's not quite going to be able to stick the nose in. So Macedonian losing 3 places in the first 7 or 8 corners of this lap. So now it looks like those mediums are definitely gone. He's done his absolute best. If he gets the safety car right now, he could possibly be saved if everyone decides to pit on softs. But now it looks like Macedonian, he's going to start tumbling back to the field after quite a good drive to get himself up into the top few positions with 2 stop. It's not quite going to work for him. So yeah, the 2 Renaults and Mercedes now are clear. F1 Hawk has a 3.2 second buffer lead, so he's still not quite out of a touching distance. 1 penalty and that's pretty much nothing. 1 little mistake and that will definitely be nothing. So the race lead is definitely not quite out of reach yet, but F1 Hawk keeps it pointing in the right direction. I think he's sitting pretty at the moment. Now Stone Town looks like Will's managed to catch this little pack as well. He's gassed the group behind. He's caught these guys, so Will looks like he's the man on the mission at the moment. Pressure, hard tyres, and Macedonian does pit now. He'll probably put on softs and just try and smash it up at the end. The Stone Town server, though, I'm with Stone Town going to get close enough. I know if he gets half a snip, he's going to send it. He's too far back. And Will, again, is also too far back. So 2 Alfa Romeos hunting down the AlphaTauri. Last couple of lap bumps, I think. But Server looks well and truly up for the task. Now Kavudi hunting down Trikid as well now, so he's gotten involved in this. Trikid has lost the air, definitely Dildog ahead. So Kavudi might be able to fancy himself a run at these guys. He's not quite going to sneak through yet. We've got these guys a bit of love as well, but Predictor and The Rock both having not the greatest of races. The Rock dropping it recently, and Predictor with a pretty poor start. Bit of contact forcing him in early. But he's just lost out, unfortunately. So he's now back down to 17th place. Teammate retired, and Edmund is our other retirement. Crashing out of a podium position on the first lap, which is not the way you want to do it. Now, this is a squeeze. Kavudi on the inside of Trikid. He's going to get moved done, but Trikid's going to try and hold around the outside. And if he could do that, that would be totally awesome. He's going to try inside for the fast right, and he's managed to sneak through again. So great racing there from Trikid. To get back ahead of Kavudi. Kavudi's going to want to get that place back and locked in, I'm sure. So there you go. Trikid now. He's going to need a nice run. He hasn't quite got it. Kavudi gets a better run. Another new Scotty is out, and there's a bit of a late move to the inside. Kavudi's going to bump his front wing a tiny bit. Not sure if that will result in damage. Visually not quite, but Kavudi now down. And he moves in the braking zone, which is very, very naughty. Can't be doing that too much. But possibly a bit of revenge for a late move from Trikid. So this guy's fighting hard till the end. It's just ahead. Will and Server side by side as well. Server hanging on for dear life. Will's managed to get by his teammate Stone Tower. I'm not sure how hard or easy that was for the Stone Tower, who's dropped back towards Doolog now. So Stone Tower looks like he's struggling on pace. 14 lap of hard tyres compared to 7 and 8 around him. So yeah, they're starting to age a bit. They won't be as good as they were before. The hard tyres do wear out around here. I know some tracks that are pretty much unbreakable, but around Bahrain they do wear. It looks like we're starting to see the first kind of happening of that now. So Server and Stone Tower, they're going to be playing defence for the rest of this race, I think. Trying to hang on to their positions if they can. You can see the understeer at the wheel, he hasn't quite got that turn in right, and that's going to let Stone Tower have another sniff at him. He's pulling Doodle around as well. Gap to Rudy's not quite DRS range yet, but it's going to be close to see towards the end of the race. Macedonia and Reaper we saw as well, both on the two-stop. Macedonia is now in P12, leader of the two-stoppers. He got 3 seconds to Try Kid and this little pack just ahead of him, so I'm not sure if Macedonia is going to be able to get all of them, but he might be able to get some of them. Except Splitters up off the race as expected with 28.5, which is actually very, very solid anyway. So he's doing well enough for himself considering the two-stop. Just no safety car hasn't helped him. Now, I want to have a quick look up here as well, because I know these runners are very, very close together. SNU and Benarcade Pie for a podium. Straight fight, no penalties. Very similar age tyres. Benarcade Pie is not going to let his teammate go, even though they are teammates and fighting for a couple of titles here. Both drivers and constructors, Renault are quite heavily involved in them. But Nana looks like he's going to hang on as much as he can though. Mr. is not quite going to get a run yet. Both of them have very similar ERS, around about 20% mark, so Keep Up's coming as well. We saw that gap. We were mentioning a few laps ago that we should keep an eye on it, and now it looks like Keep Up has managed to close that gap. I think it was about 4 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds before, and Keep Up is now on the back of here. So if these Renaults aren't careful, Keep Up's going to get them both and get them on that podium. So going to be a really spicy fight here for the last 5 laps of this race. F1 Hawk's still sitting pretty nice in P1, 4 seconds ahead of Blocky, who hasn't quite managed to make inroads. But Blocky has gap for Nike Pile, so the 2 Renaults are finally going to swap over. Kickbutt's going to get a nice run as well. Banana will go inside to kind of cover Kickbutt, but he's not quite going to get alongside enough. Kickbutt might try and get 2 Renaults in one corner, and it's not quite going to happen, but can he get one of them? He can. Kickbutt Kiwi now into P4, Banana Pile losing 2 positions, and he's not going to have the ERS to really mount the challenge back. Spinake passes held P5-4 now. Kickbutt Kiwi's got a lot more ERS than both of the Renaults, so he is well and truly primed to make a move. So Kickbutt Kiwi put on a really good drive from towards the back. I think it was 15th and 16th he started. Now sitting P4. Another guy who's done well is Will and Dudog from outside the top 10 as well. They've both done really nice jobs to get themselves up into 7th and 8th respectively, but yeah. Interesting to see how this strategy is playing out, how the age of the tyres is really advantaging and disadvantaging some drivers now. Like I say, Keep Up with her 6 laps fresher tyres, breezing past the older tired Renault of Banana Cake Pie, and now probably trying to line up S Nui. These guys still on the train. Stone Tower still hanging on as much as he can. The Rock's going to pick up a penalty. He's in a battle with Predictor at the moment as well, right at the back. Macedonia has already caught 3 seconds to Kabudi and is trying to go through him already. So those soft tyres really lighten up. At the moment, Macedonia is the man on the move. Could get the time penalty as well, battling the Rock. Looks like Macedonia is going to be down the inside of Kabudi. He's going to get it done. A bit of contact though, and Kabudi is always going to hang on around the outside. We have to look up here because we have another move for the podium. Esanui has lost out to Kickbutt Kiwi. So now Kickbutt Kiwi has cleared both Renaults and is now in a podium position. So fantastic drive from Kickbutt Kiwi here. His teammate Kabudi is, I think, just about to lose out to Macedonian though on the fresh soft tyres, and he does. So Macedonian gets through finally, a couple of corners later than he would have liked, but better late than never. And now he's already going to have a run at the Stone Tower. Try picks up the penalty, which is going to be costly for him possibly at the end of the race, with the soft guys catching him behind. Stone Tower is going to try and defend as hard as he can, but Macedonian on the soft tyres is going to be a little bit too quick, I think. A little bit too much grip, and he gets through for P9. Kavu's going to try and show the nose from Stone Tower. I know Stone Tower's not going to give it to him though, as there's a bit of contact, and Kavu's going to kind of push his way through a bit there, and Stone Tower's not going to appreciate that. I might stay on board here, as he's going to go deep in the brakes. Kavuti goes deep as well, both of them very deep. Stone Tail looks like he's really struggling on these medium tyres now. 17 laps old, are going to be well past prime at this point. He's going to come under pressure from Grim Reaper just behind on the medium tyres. So now we see these tyre differences really being amplified towards the end of this race. Those hard tyres starting to really struggle to hang on. They'll start to really fall off the cliff in the next lap or two, as it looks like the Stone Tails are. As Rip has to back off the throttle slightly to avoid running into the back. So still plenty to fight for in this race. 3 laps to go as Rip's going down the inside, and we have yellows, and that is for... who's it for? Might be a laps car. What's happened to Server? Server's been overtaken. I'm trying to figure out who those yellows were for. It might have been for the Rock. Yeah, I think that's the Rock, alright. I was just getting worried that a battle up the top was just getting a bit out of hand there. But Reaper and Tri-Kid, Reaper now through on Tri-Kid on those medium tyres, getting 2 cars in that straight there, got the Stone Tower as well, so looking really nice. And Scotty's going to be the next one to try to get the Stone Tower. So that soft to hard strategy really not helping Prezzo here. Now really struggling with those tyres. He's going to try going on the inside here. Really difficult to go side by side, but Stone Tower's going to try and hang it, but doesn't quite have the tyre grip to really do so. Stone Tower's just falling back down through the field, which is really unfortunate for him. Now I see Doodle pushing Server through the second sector now, really close to the back of him. He might have a bit of ERS here, but Server's going to hang on for now. He's still on the back of Will. So Will's put in a really solid drive, as I mentioned a couple laps ago as well, to get himself up into the top 6 from outside the top 10 off the start. Doodle as well, another one of those guys. Server's tyres 18 laps old now, really starting to struggle. By the looks of things, struggling to get the car turned through the corners. This front's going to be screaming, wait for this race to end. It looks like Keep Up Blocky, Keep Up through for P2 now. So from 15th to 2nd, an absolutely phenomenal drive from Keep Up Kiwi with 2 laps to go. F1 Hawk's going to be just out of reach, but Keep Up Kiwi can be really proud of that effort there. Doodle and Server looks like they are going to go side by side into turn 1. Separately Doodle around the outside. We've seen this a few times. Can he hold the nose there? Sort of, but not quite. No, he's going to have to back out. So the Macedonian on the soft tyres is going to sweep through on the softs compared to the hards, and the grip is just absolutely incredible for Macedonian. This Macedonian, he's actually put off a pretty nice comeback here on these soft tyres. Could have been a lot worse. His teammate Scotty's also gotten by a Tri-Kid just behind as well. So Macedonian on 2-stop. He's really made the most of these tyres. He's doing what Grim Reaper couldn't at the start, get through the traffic on the soft tyres. So it's going to still be a good result here for Macedonian. He's going to get Will as well in the penalties at the rate of going, given Macedonian doesn't get another penalty here. So it's been a cracking drive from the man in the Haas. Now Service will lose another position here, unfortunately, to Dog, getting a little bit balked on the exit from Macedonian there. But we are on the second last lap, coming around the final corner for the second last time as F1 Hawk, our leader. I haven't given him much attention this race because he's been chilling out front. That gap is really coming down, but I don't think Kickbutt's going to quite get close enough to really challenge for the lead. But F1 Hawk's driven a pretty solid race, getting the strat right, nailing his start. Never really come under pressure from the start to the end, effectively with the exception of the pit stops, but really solid from McLaren. 2 McLarens in the top 10 is going to be nice for the constructors as well. We did talk about how close it was between McLaren, Haas and Renault for the constructors, so important for F1 Hawk to maximise his points. Kickbutt Kiwi, another phenomenal drive we mentioned before. Blocky Rex being really solid, getting by Benike Pie in the middle stint. Benike Pie unfortunately dropping behind his teammate, but he'll be pretty happy with that, I think, anyway. A 1-2 with, a 4-5, my bad. So we've got some calamity here. What's happened? Server has he got a puncture as well? Server's got a puncture. 20 laps in the... Oh wow, that's massive. So now does the Stone Tail hang on? Does F1 Hawk stay on? F1 Hawk's only... Oh, this is big. This is massive. Because Kickbutt Kiwi is now right in the back of F1 Hawk. Is F1 Hawk's tyre's going to hang on? I can't look backwards for some reason. This stupid spectator cam. I think his tyres are still okay. But it's only a second. Oh, drama. I was just saying, winding up this race, it was finished. It's not finished. F1 Hawk's just going to hang on, I think. I don't think his tyres are punctured. No, they're not. So F1 Hawk does win. That was a massive scare there. Kickbutt Kiwi second. Knew he was going to get 4th, just behind Blocky in 3rd. Banana Pie's dropped off massively. Has Banana got a puncture as well? No, he hasn't. So I'm not too sure what's happened there. I'm not sure why Banana's dropped so far off. He might have dropped it. Will P6, Macedonian P7, but will jump to P6. Will drops to P8 behind Dildog. Kavudi drops to P11 behind Reaper. And drops to P12 behind Trikid. So Kavudi dropping a little bit on penalties. The Stone Tower will weave across the line to P13. Do a couple of donuts and crash himself out in spectacular fashion. He will get jumped by RD Kangs for P13. Servo and Predictor, Servo with puncture now, and Predictor steaming up to the back of him now. So that could have been a real scare at the end of the race there for F1 Hawk, but he's lucky his tyres have hung on. Same with Banana Cake Pie. So yes, mass confusion. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I wonder if Banana Cake Pie dropped it, that being the reason he fell so far back. But yeah, I'm genuinely quite confused. I might have to ask him about that at the end of the race. There you go. Very interesting. Unless he's just dropped off that much on pace. I'm very confused. I'm just going to have a quick look back through the stream here to see if I spot anything particularly unusual with Banana Cake Pie. Because he dropped about 6 or 7 seconds in the last 3 laps. So I wonder if he was just on maximum tyre save or fuel save. But anyway, enough of that. We have to celebrate these top 3 drives. F1 Hawk, Kick Butt and Blocky Rex. All 3 with very, very solid drives. Well deserving of their podiums. He's done a very solid job. Kind of keeping that 1, 2, 3 second gap to the guys behind. So sort of in touching range, but never really came under direct pressure. Which you'll be very happy with. Kick Butt Kiwi, as mentioned, from right down in 15th or 16th place off the start. And then Blocky. Solid drive. I'm going to have to ask Banana what happened to him to get him so far off his teammate. 12 seconds in the end. S Nui will take P4 for Renault, Banana Pie P5, so solid points there for the Renault outfit. Macedonian P6 ahead of his teammate P8. Deputy Dudog is the meat in the Haas sandwich. Very solid drive from 13th place. Will 19th to 9th, he can be very happy with that as well, I think. And Reaper will take the final spot in the top 10. Trikid, Kavudi, RD Changs, the Stone Tower and Server, I believe, also get points. This league does give points to the top 15 drivers. Predictor does miss out, unfortunately. Rock going a lap down. Banana just retired from the pits, and Enman binned it out of P3 from the first lap, which was massive for the championship. But that has been the Bahrain Grand Prix. Yeah, I was trying to wind that up quite nicely, but there was a little bit too much happening for that to happen. So there you go. I shouldn't be surprised though, these guys always deliver. So in terms of the championship, it's pretty big because F1 Hawk will extend his lead, given his 2 biggest rivals weren't really anywhere near him. Scotty down in 8th and Edmund not scoring. So there you go. Very, very interesting round, to say the very least. Now, I'm just going to quickly check where our next few races are, just for the just for our own information. I'm pretty sure there's only 6 or 7 rounds left. There are 7 rounds, so 15 race season. We're at China next week, then USA and Mexico, so a couple of different tracks there. China, another 50-50 track, but usually provides some reasonable racing. Then USA and Mexico, which we're going to see a lot of penalties, I think, lots of corner cutting, lots of very technical S sections. So a couple of interesting races coming up. Make sure to tune into those. If you want to see these guys' previous races, most of them have been streamed by myself. You'll find them all on the Race Spec YouTube channel. And if you want to see more from these guys, tune in for the next 7 weeks. I'll be streaming them all, getting to watch the show that these guys put on. So make sure to tune into all of that. 3 other tiers as well for the Pacific Series, 1, 3 and 4. So make sure you look at all that good stuff as well, plus the Euro and Americas series. Race Spec also has the Sunday series, the Race Spec Global Series. I think there's 6 or 7 tiers of those, plus the GT series, which runs on the Saturday. So make sure to check out all that good stuff. If you want to see more, go hit up the socials. Quick shout out again to our new sponsor, Go Workplace Training. Go check out their website. Really exciting to see Race Spec Esports partnering with those guys, branching out to the real world. But we'll wind it up there. Thank you so much all for tuning in. Thank you to our drivers putting on another cracking race. I'm Bodhod. I've absolutely loved commentating this evening and this season, and I will catch you all for next round at China. We'll see you all then.